That's a good question.
That is a good question. I've still got my money on life. It is Iron Fortress.
I like Zest, man. Let's see.
I like stats, man.
Oh!
It's life.
I guess I'm right after all.
Yeah.
Saving Zest for later.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. You usually do not want to send out a Protoss on Iron Fortress. It would have been, you know, I guess if they had a specific Protoss to snipe out MMA on Iron Fortress, we've seen teams do crazier things than that. But from us on the desk, I think life is, you know, the pretty standard choice here.
Very safe bet there, and I'm excited to see what he can do against someone, an old rival like MMA. These guys have a lot of history as well. You know, they've been in a lot of individual tournaments around the world.
Yeah. Well, this is a great start already for SBENU. I really worry, actually, about the life pick because even though he's a great player, he has not performed well recently. Most of his successes or failures have been like him playing against a 2K proxy. We haven't seen actually that many legit life games in a while in Pro League. If he loses here, that puts this insane momentum swing into their opponent's favor. SBENU has MMA taking 2 wins. No one would have predicted that except maybe Legend for some reason.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, this is unheard of.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're going to go straight into game number 2 here, guys, between Life and MMA on Iron Fortress. Down here in the bottom right, in the red, the Zerg player from KT Rolster. It is Life. It is Life.
There he is. Not the best camera shot there.
Being a bit shy.
Yeah. His opponent to the top right in pink is MMA up 1-0. Both GSL champions. Life to be a 3-time GSL champion. And I suppose MMA not actually a GSL champion, more of a different tournament that GSL was like hosting. Was that really a GSL? It was like a BlizzCon sort of tournament.
Really count, guys? Beat MVP.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really important tournament.
I think biggest.
Saseng Pen.
Saseng Pen.
I don't know what that means.
I think that's like
fan.
Like maybe it means. I think it means maybe like. If I had to guess, like it makes me feel like he's like trying to learn from him. Like he's like his what's it? Apprentice fan or something? I don't know.
Biggest
maybe
teacher idol.
Okay, two barracks proxy.
Did you see that drone scout? Is he going to the center?
Why does everybody cheese
Life?
Life?
He's going to the center too.
Why? No, he's not.
He
is.
He is.
Why does everybody keep cheesing him?
Life
he keeps
finds a
defending
way.
it. It's like, stop doing it.
Oh, stop you.
Just gives it up. He had a second ATV as well. I guess he just like, you know what? I just can't do it anymore.
It's lucky that he saw that he was scouted that early so he can make this transition. It's much harder to do so if you start your second barracks.
Still, you know, canceling a barracks like that's going to put you on the back foot.
And the drone can now harass the CC first that he's very obviously going for.
Yeah. Well, where it goes is the next question. Probably going to be the top of the ramp, but
I think it would have to be the top of the ramp, guys.
Well, you'd think so, but now he's going to go for the bottom.
That's pretty risky. I mean, Life already knows where he is. He's going to be able to delay it. He's gone for a pool first.
Yeah, and you know what? MMA also doesn't know where Life is. Something else to keep in mind. Okay, never mind. Take it back. SVD get in there.
Well, let's see if we see some Lings invested in. That'd be a pretty interesting sort of thing. And 4R on the way. This could actually do some damage because it's a low ground CC.
Yeah.
Big mistake from MMA.
The big fight going on here.
One more little bite or a little drill.
Regens 2 more health and turns around and he wins it.
And
he's looking for the snipe.
He's going for it. MMA.
Turn around. Boom.
There it is.
There you go. And now he can harass.
This drone is 1 life to game almost. Oh, not setting that second set of Lings. That's surprising. I feel like that could have been some real damage there.
Yeah, I think it definitely could have. Barracks nearing completion here.
That drone is still microing for its life right now.
Could extractor it. Oh man, one more hit point to save him. Can he turn? Oh, there you go.
There we go.
He's getting away. He's going into the main.
Just make an extractor, man. Well, these Lynx could do some damage if he wants to delay that CC. Going to the main, not going to find as much.
He just wants to see if there's a gas, I guess, or a second barracks, which is almost every time a gas, but I guess could have been stranger because MMA does play a little bit non-standard.
Oh, hold on.
And the other two Lings went towards the left side of the map
One more.
first.
Got it.
I don't know what's going on with these Lings.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure about that. Maybe worried of extra barracks on the map or something? It doesn't really
He's
make
like,
sense.
that CC is really late. I mean, he did make it with about 500 minerals, but...
He should be fine there. I mean, I guess Life, he's kind of super paranoid at this point in his career because he's been cheesed so much, and he became such a macro Zerg after joining KT that these things you just got to be double checking, because if he's allowed to do what he wants to do, he's so scary, but people are cheesing him out left, right, and center.
Yeah, third game in a row now in Pro League matches that he's been proxied. I mean, this still counts as a proxy, even though it was canceled. It was an attempt to proxy.
Yeah. I wonder if he feels somewhat good about that. He's like, oh, these guys can't play in a straight-up game against me. They have to proxy me 3 times in a row. Or maybe he's just frustrated.
Probably a lot of
Maybe a bit of
anxiety
both.
behind that, yeah.
I would say in this game in particular, he probably feels pretty good given his current position. He's going to have Link's speed in just a moment. He's got a huge drone lead. He's already scouted the gas, so he knows Hellions are coming up in just a moment. He knows everything. There's no mystery here. He's even got an Overlord still currently in the main, seeing if there's a third CC. He's not quite able to find it.
Just about what his follow-up is from here. Is he going to take advantage of this lead he has early on, or is he simply going to play a macro game from here and just try and win in the mid game with a lot of Mutiling Bane?
For now, I mean, he is going to finish up that speed and take a third base, as well as adding a couple more queens. He's going to have a very high number of queens here. Try to get that third base connected very fast, get the creep spread out very early on.
Yeah, I do like this a lot, actually. It really is just playing for that mid game. With this third base, it's pretty uncharacteristic. You know, we're seeing a lot of Zerg players simply go for those two-base sort of quick Mutalisk, which would do a lot of work in this kind of situation as well, but this one really solidifies a powerful lead in the mid game if it's allowed to get up unhindered by Hellion run-bys and whatnot.
What do you think about the Roach Warren that's coming up? Do you think it's defensive against a possible Hellbat attack, or do you think he actually wants to be aggressive with this?
That's a hard question because it is pretty early on. Maybe he doesn't want to invest in the Banelings this early. We'll see where the upgrades lead, I guess, which is really going to be the indicator of what he wants to do with it.
This is really smart from MMA. He's going to do a fake cloak research here. There goes and Beast canceled. But all the while he was making a medevac as that Overlord came in. He started that right before the Overlord got in vision.
Yeah, I actually like that so much. It's going to be a nice Hellion drop. It can really even things up if it's allowed to deal 10+ drones worth of damage.
Sure. No armory, as far as I can tell. Second factory and third coming to join that mech sort of composition. Even though it's not MMA's bread and butter, it's definitely the best way to play this matchup right now.
This map, though, it's such a widespread map. We've talked about it a lot in the past. It's how difficult it is to get a third and fourth up on it. But I guess if it's not expected at all, you can get away with it.
There's that armory coming up a bit late.
We do have the +1 melee coming through for life, so maybe he's just assuming at this point that MMA is going to be playing bio.
Yeah, it kind of seems that way, doesn't it? He's going to be a little while before he really finds out anything either. He's got no vision of the main base, no overlords nearby. Unless he uses an Overseer, which we see going to the north now.
4 Hellions about to drop in the main here. He's sending some queens back. They're very slow. The Roaches are AFK right now. They're sitting down there doing nothing. And here comes the attack. 4 drones already. Trying to block off here, but...
Pretty nice block, to be honest. A couple of the Hellions on the left side as well. Not really lining up the hits. Still going to get 8 drones, though.
Yeah. Hard to say if it's worth it or not at this point because of how far ahead Life was, but 8 drones of damage is something at least.
Yeah, it's going to cost him a lot of larva to rebuild those, but he killed the medevac, so that gives him a little bit of peace of mind. The Overseer now sees the double fact blue flame on the way.
Yep. Instant change and upgrades, getting that +1 range instead. Maybe going to try for a Roach timing. Wouldn't be a bad choice considering he's already got the tech, he's already got the speed on the way, and he's pretty much drained up his third base as well.
I like MMA's position in this game. I wouldn't say he's massively ahead, but he secured a third base. He killed all those Lings for free, and he forced larva to be used to remake those drones. He's got a ton of Hellions controlling the map currently, and Life just simply put doesn't have enough units to really zone these out. He's struggling really hard. In fact, he might lose more drones here if these get in.
Yeah, this is a scary run by.
6 Hellions coming in. All the drones once again lining up. MMA still hasn't found that money shot just yet. A lot of splitting over here on the left side as well.
Really good crisis management here by Life.
Ooh. Yeah, losing a lot of Hellions for not too much at all. 4 drones not worth it that time. And if Life wanted to, he could invest even more into Roach and maybe try and poke the third while the Terran army is small enough.
Already a very quick fourth and fifth factory being added here for MMA. He's really secure in himself that he's going to be able to hold on to this third base no problem. An interesting choice. He did kill a lot of those Lings, so even though he only killed 4 drones, he traded pretty well with the Lings. I guess he just feels like at this point he's in a pretty secure place with that harassment. He's going to send Vikings across the map to clean up some Overlords to scare Life as well into thinking maybe there's some more drops coming up.
Well, we do see the Burrow and Burrow movement coming forward for Life as well. Definitely wants to commit to at least a bunch of harassment here with his Roaches. Also going for some Hydra upgrades here. Yeah,
going straight into Hive. So maybe looking for some Viper timing, or at least some get Vipers out so he can start trading efficiently against this. Looks like he's just going to allow MMA to sit on 3 base for now. Maybe really contest the 4th if it ever gets up.
Some really heavily micromanaged Roaches here.
Those 2 depots never going to be made.
Burrow now complete. And unfortunately, those Roaches are not going to be able to shoot over the wall.
Yeah, maybe going from behind here. Maybe wait until the Burrow movement's finished up and try and sneak into the main and natural away from the detection. But I think there is a pretty well-placed turret in between all 3 bases.
It's interesting that Life takes this approach rather than using Mutalisk as many Zergs would. Like, look at Bjall, for example, almost every time. He's just going into a much quicker ranged unit composition with these Hydras and Roaches.
I kind of like it, to be honest, considering how heavily anti-air mech Terrans are getting to start things off. They didn't really invest into tanks until like after a couple of floors at least. So it's kind of just skipping right to the Viper time.
Ooh, look at this harass coming in towards that third base. Meanwhile, a bunch of Hellions coming down here in the mid.
Ooh, I like this. Getting rid of this turret's going to enable him to burrow again. Force out some scans.
Exactly, and he splits his Roaches into multiple different directions. He's really doing quite a bit of work with this. Also intercepting some Hellions here. Going to kill nearly all of them. Nice little tempo lead here. Vipers already now at 14 minutes and 30 seconds on the way.
Wow, look how many Vikings are out already. Considering the lack of air that's been invested by Life already, we have 8 Vikings currently, which is going to help out a lot against the Vipers. Maybe a little worried about that or what could be coming his way.
No more Vikings coming through for now, though. Just going to continuously make 3 tanks, 4 Hellions at a time. Just try to hold the ground army from here on off.
I feel like MMA is looking at this and he's like, I've seen this before. You know, I've seen this Roach, Viper, Hydra timing, and I'm going to be ready.
Unsieged here. This could be a huge blow.
Oh, yeah, this planetary isn't ready either. He's having to move the rest of his tanks over. This is a great position for Life. Let's see if he can hold it.
Retreating back here. This is so smart.
Yeah, the tanks were forced to siege down there on the low ground just in case. The planetary is going to cancel and lift.
Well, this is a good start here, but this is going to be a little bit ugly now that all tanks are sieged up.
Yeah, he has to back off.
Really needs to wait for his Vipers before he wants to try and engage that.
They've got a lot of energy built up, almost full energy on both of them.
Yeah. Still took a decent fight there, traded some of those tanks out, maybe 3 or 4 of them. For not losing all too much. Also canceled that planetary as well.
Life is being very greedy with what he's doing, I would say, overall. Like, he has very little money to be going into very quick ultras now behind this, but
yeah,
this is going to buy him space to now take an additional base. He's probably going to take the one to the bottom left, I would say.
Yeah, it seems like those 2 Hellions are still there denying it for the moment, but I feel like if Life was going to go for a timing, it would be now, considering he is maxed out. He has such a lead. The 4th base has only got online now, so a little bit of time before it really starts to kick in and the Terran army gets a little overwhelming. He's not going for it just yet, but here we go. He's moving up now.
I feel like MMA is very well prepared for this. He knows what he's up against. Let's see the engagement that Life is able to take.
Yep. Life very smartly not attacking where all the tanks are. Well, he was thinking about it. Now he is. He's going to just go straight in. The Blinding Cloud's coming down on a very big chunk of those tanks.
Well, the Vipers are gone now, though, so these are the only Blinding Clouds we're going to have. The question is, are there enough tanks here? And I think the answer is no. Thor's on the left side helping out. Vikings do land here, and this will be cleaned up eventually, but I think it was too good of a trade here. MMA taking a ton of damage right now.
Just simply too spread out. Really well done from Life. It's just not a big enough army from MMA. He's going to be losing a lot of SCVs in this third base, and a lot of those tanks went down.
Yep, look at this. Just the evacuation. And he's just going to be able to burrow the rest of those roaches and split them up very nicely. Saves a big number of his units here for a follow-up fight a little bit later on.
Yeah. And MMA has just lost the backbone of his army. Holding the next push is going to be even harder.
Considering there's going to be Ultras as well as Roach, Hydra, and Viper, it's really going to be a hard task. And the creep spread's getting right to the doorstep as well. Like, MMA's had no space on the map whatsoever.
He's basically, life has been on a razor-thin edge of how cost-efficient he needs to be in these fights, and he's just barely met the quota every time, and it's starting to overwhelm.
Look at this.
These Roach bombs, just going to drop them right on top of the siege tanks. We saw him do this already. Oh, just spread them on top of both siege tanks, friendly fire.
I mean, there was one turret there, but they regen so well underground. And now he can just split them up once again. He's taken out essentially 3-4 tanks there for free. Meanwhile, back at home, he's got 5 bases up. He's totally fine.
Yeah, and now he's completely maxed out once again. Just waiting for a couple more Ultras, perhaps, and maybe try drop the hammer and finish this game off.
And he's going to have the +3 armor for Ultras, plus the chitinous plating pretty soon. And he's getting +1 for them as well. So he's going to have such good upgrades for all groups of units in just a moment here. Even now getting +3 for his Hydras and Roaches. And the creep spread has never been denied. Like you said, there's never been any space for MMA to get anything done in this game.
Yeah, he's completely dominating the map at this point. Looks like he might look into going to Brutaloids a little bit later on if he has to, but I feel like he won't at this point, as long as he gets a good engagement.
Ooh, this is a pretty awkward place for MMA to try to defend.
Yeah, he is going to be able to snipe out a bunch of those Vipers before they get their blinding clouds. A couple do come down, and that still just may be enough here to push MMA back. He really just doesn't have that much stuff. The third base forced to lift again.
Yeah, he could actually lose it this time if the Hydra start working on it.
Looks like it's going to happen. Yep.
Yeah, just completely overwhelmed at this point. This is the problem with playing Terran on this map, especially mech.
Yeah. I feel like Life almost saw MMA going mech on this map, and he just chuckled to himself. He's like, oh, okay, I know exactly how to engage here on this map.
It's kind of disappointing as well, considering how good MMA's bio style usually is.
I feel like MMA also knew that this was coming, but he just still could not set up the right kind of defense. He spread his units pretty far. They're pretty thin, so no matter which way he was trying to defend from, Life hit the weakest point. It was like he needed a little bit more time.
Do you think that he went for this composition based on the fact that his proxy failed, and he was kind of like, well, this is the only way I come back into this efficiently, because bio is just not going to find the timings it should?
I almost feel like he did it just because Life wouldn't expect it, but then Life scouted it and countered it, you know?
Yeah, Life definitely was not expecting it, if you guys remember, going for the melee upgrade first. But Life also had a very nice response once he eventually did get that scout down. He was scouting very meticulously in the base of MMA, I think like 3 times with 2 Overlords, 1 Overseer. So
it's so important these days to make sure you know what kind of composition you're going up against, because if you did not expect it, you can just lose the game straight out.
Well, he's going to make a bunch of links to help support this army now.
Oh, beautifully done.
Blinding clouds here on 3 groups of tanks. And the game isn't... I was going to say it's not over yet, but I think now it finally really is.
Yeah.
Like, it finally really is over now. I don't think he can hold this one.
Yeah, even if he could, I mean, he just lost so much of his tank army again. He's going to reset the tank count in a big way. There's just nothing left over, and there's those GG scans.
Yep.
GG scans coming down. GG is called. Life. And KT Royalsville will take game number 2 to tie things up.
Well done. Well played. Bringing the momentum back. I feel personally not the safest choice on Life out here, but I think it was a good choice overall. Had he failed here, I would have been really worried, but
yeah,
he did it. And now Cactus Valley, like you said earlier, Moonglade, a great map where if Life wins, he can get further momentum on these 2 back-to-back big Zerg maps.
Yeah, and the question is, who comes out for SBENU? Are we going to see Curious maybe bust out and try for the ZVZ?
I think so.
That's the biggest bet I'm getting. It's either Dongray Gu or Curious going to be on this map.
It'd be kind of interesting. We saw DRG play a very nice ZVZ against Sue on Terraform, so maybe he isn't the choice coming out on this very big map. Maybe he likes to play those smaller 2-player maps. Is there any chance for someone like Jogji or Bomber to come out early because they want to save their 2 Zerg heavy hitters for later?
Oh, man, it's kind of hard to say because the maps kind of get uglier and uglier as they get later for the Zerg. So I think they probably want to send them out now, maybe save Jack G for later or Bomber, depending on who's playing better, but both kind of weak choices.
This is kind of crazy to say, but I feel like we're going to see Jockji come out for Zest if DRG is gone, because he has shown some okay TVP in the past.
Well, guys, are going to take a 5-minute break.